Welcome to the Rock Interview Series with host Thomas S. Watt Jr.
Welcome to episode number 126 of the Rock Interview Series. I'm Thomas Orwad Jr., and today's date is June 9th, 2025. In this episode, guitarist Sam Bam Koltun of the band Faster Pussycat and also the band Dorothy is my special guest. During this interview, Sam talks about Faster Pussycat's current U.S. tour, the band's most recent single, Motorbike, and the band's future plans. We also discuss Sam's involvement with the band Dorothy and also his recent European tour performing in the band Godsmack. So let's get started. Here is Sam Bam Koltun. Hey everyone, welcome to the Rock Interview Series. And today we have Sam Bam Koltun of Faster Pussycat with us. Sam is currently on the road on his day off, and he's kind enough to talk to us and give us a little update on this amazing tour that's going on. Sam, first of all, how's it going? You've been on tour for a week, couple weeks now with Faster Pussycat?
On this particular tour, yes. But yeah, it's going good so far. Yeah, so far so good. It's been fun. Last couple nights were super fun, and this package seems really cool. All the bands are really cool. Lonely Ones are really cool. Rumors are awesome. Super Suckers are great. So it's going great.
Yeah, it's like really a great lineup. I mean, I wasn't familiar with some of the other bands on there. Well, the Rumors were really the only band I wasn't familiar with, and so I checked them out. And man, those girls have some energy. So I mean, what a great bill it is. It truly is.
Yeah. It's a lot of punk rock, and I kind of consider Pussycat, even though they're from the time that they're from, but there's a lot of kind of more so punk rock elements to the music than there is kind of the stereotypical hair metal and whatnot. So it's really fun, and it's been cool to watch the other bands so far, and looking forward to the rest of it.
Now you started off, on tour, a little bit of bad luck with the bus breaking down like 40 minutes after you left Los Angeles. Tell us a little bit about that
Yeah,
and how frustrating it was and how soon did you get back on the road after that? I mean, get the bus back and on the road after that incident happened.
I mean, it's at this point it feels kind of common. It feel wrong if there was a Faster Pussycat tour where everything just went right. and but and also there's always some sort of bus issue. We've been on other tours that I've been on. So yeah, we it was about 45 minutes outside of LA, on the way to Vegas, and we woke up, or at least when I woke up at the time that I got up, which is later than everybody else, we were still in California. Still, I guess we had stopped somewhere on the side of the road, and then I don't know exactly what the issue was, but there was something that needed to get welded in this area back there where the engine is. So,
Hmm.
uh, but luckily that got fixed, and there's just been a couple other little kind of things with the generator that is just kind of normal stuff, it seems like, at this point. So, but yeah, that Vegas show, we got there, loaded it, got loaded in pretty quick around like 5:30, and did the thing, and then we've been going ever since.
Yeah. And I've heard from some people that have been to some of the shows that these crowd sides are really impressive. You've been getting a really large audience for a lot of these shows. There really seems to be a lot of interest in the band, like the band's been rejuvenated as far as the public's going. They just want to hear some good music. You have a great bill, and it seems like people are really interested in Faster Pussycat again.
It's cool. It's cool. Like I said, we just had a couple in particular that were really fun. Kansas City was really fun, and Lincoln, Nebraska last night was great. So, uh, yeah, just fingers crossed the fun keeps happening.
Yeah, and in a little more than 2 weeks, you're going to be playing in my hometown, Buffalo, New York, at the Buffalo Ironworks. We're really
Awesome.
looking forward to having you play here with Faster Pussycat. Last time you were here, I believe it wasn't really Buffalo. It was called the Smoking Joe's Big Indian Reservation, and it was
Right.
supposed to. Do you remember that gig? I mean, it was
Oh,
supposed to
I
be
do.
within. Yeah,
I remember the giant Indian statue,
there you
and
go.
I remember that Enough's Enough was on that tour with us, and their bus broke down, and
Right,
they didn't
right.
make that show.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so I remember that.
yeah, so we're looking forward to having you at Buffalo Iron Works. Nothing
I
against
hope
that venue, but I think the
I
Buffalo Iron Works is going to be much better place for you guys to play.
I hope it's inside.
It is inside. Do
Oh,
you
awesome.
prefer playing inside as opposed to
Totally.
outside?
Totally. I personally am not a huge fan of outside other than if it's like a festival or something like those Danny Wimmer festivals uh that Dorothy has played on. Those are really, really fun. But yeah, outside it's just we just did a couple outside shows in Texas, so it's just like,
Oh
oh
wow.
my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah, it
And
gets
this is early. Are we still? Yeah, this is early June still. So luckily it isn't uh,
uh,
August in Texas. But yeah, just if you're asking as far as a preference of venues, yeah, for sure. I always prefer inside with four walls. It's just kind of, you know, makes it sounds tighter to me as far
I
as, you know,
yeah, I definitely agree with you as far as the sound goes, but it's nice to get outside once in a while too if you have good weather, but it's so
for sure.
unpredictable. You don't know what you're going to get. So at least this time, you're not going to be playing in a rainstorm or anything. I mean, it might be raining, but we'll all be inside, so
Nah,
it's all going to be good. Yeah.
awesome.
So I want to talk about the new Faster Pussycat single called Motorbike. You guys are like kind of like, giving us a single every couple years of that, and I think we're up to four songs so far, four new songs. So let's first talk about Motorbike and that song. Can you tell us a little bit about how that came about?
Well, I know that it's a song, and that is the case with a few of these that Tammy has had for a while, and it's just been getting, figuring out what is needed to finish it. So that one has been definitely one of my favorites out of the ones that we've been working on for sure. And that um, I know he's Tammy is really meticulous with everything, which is really, really cool because he wants anything that gets put out at this point to hold up to everything else that he's done. And you know, he takes a while, he'll admit he's admitted that he's kind of slower working on stuff, but I try my best to hurry it up. But at the same time, he does like to spend a lot of time on something just to make sure it's the best that it can be. So
Mhm.
um, yeah, I know Motorbike's something that they've had for a while, and uh, everything about it is. There's definitely been multiple versions of it recorded, but this particular version has been. I think I probably cracked on it for the first time maybe a few years ago. I know the solo's a couple of years old, and there was a point where it got finished, and then it sounded like it kind of just the B side "Don't Change" just sounded so much more powerful, and it was because it had live drums on it. So we ended up redoing the drums, and then the song got remixed and mastered, and then it was just figuring out a time to put it out, which this tour was the perfect time just to be able to go out and play it instead of putting it out in January when we're not playing, or for example.
Yeah, it makes sense. Are we gonna eventually see a full length record, with some of these songs and yep, nothing yet that you can announce or
We'll see. We'll see. I mean, I can't. It doesn't feel like my place to say. It's up to Tammy, but I've heard Tammy say, uh, in other interviews that I think that's the plan is to eventually get there. I know there's a couple other songs that we're working on currently, and yeah, but I hope that happens because the stuff that's been sitting, these other couple songs that I personally think are really, really cool, and it'd be cool to have another. It'd be cool to be a part of a full length,
yeah,
just from
yeah,
my
for sure.
perspective.
What
Yeah.
about the set list? I'm assuming that that song's gonna be in the set list. Do you have any of the other newer songs in the set list?
Yeah,
Current?
we've been opening with Motorbike on this tour, which I had
Oh,
suggested to Tammy. Thought it was kind of cool to change it up and do something a little different, and that's been going well. And so we play Motorbike, NOLA, and Like a Ghost pretty much every night. We've done it every night. There's one show this coming week where I think we play a little shorter, so maybe not every single one of those will be in, but on all the headline shows, those three have been in the set. Yeah,
How has the audience reaction been to the newer songs?
I think good. We've had, yeah, Nola's been out for a few years now. That came out in 21, and then Like a Ghost came out, I think, later in 22. So both of
Yep.
those have been, staple in most of the shows since they've been out. Like a Ghost has been in every single show since it's been out. So uh, they're both really, really fun to play live. It seems to be like the general consensus is people dig them because they kind of have the old school vibe. And I think that's kind of what was, that's at least what I was kind of trying to go for in the parts that I brought in. And, it's also just whatever ends up being right for the song. So, yeah.
As far as the writing process goes, for the most part, I'm getting from what you're saying so far that it's Tammy will bring the song in, and then you'll add to the song, you'll add your parts to it. Are there any have any of these songs been where like you've like initiated like a riff and it started with that, or is it just pretty much the song is you know given to you in a basic form?
It's pretty much so far these are ideas and songs that have been, have been around for a while, and then, just figuring out the pieces to finish them. They're so I there's a lot of times where I kind of just would redo guitars, and then as I'm redoing guitars, we come up with different ideas together. Tammy and I sit and we sit in his home studio and work together, and it always, he'll have an idea of how, because he plays guitar as well, so he can kind of hear a different rhythm, whereas that might not be something that I would pick out, so he can kind of hear it and we can kind of play off it together and just try to put together some stuff that sounds cool.
Mhm. How has Tammy been doing? I mean, we all know about the horrible tragedy that he suffered through, and how has he been on tour so far? He's been okay.
Yeah, I think it's been personally, I can just say I think it's been a good distraction for him to get out and see some friends and play some shows and get out and do what he likes to do.
Earlier this year, you were the replacement guitar player in Godsmack, and it took a lot of people by surprise. How soon before that first gig? I think it was like March 22nd that you played your first gig with Godsmack in Europe. Did you have a lot of time
Yeah.
to get ready for that, or was it kind of like a quick thing for you also?
No, there was time. I had found out about the auditions like kind of end of January, like very end of January, and that's about when I heard from management after I was looped in and connected with management. And then the auditions were kind of mid-February about, and then after that there was a week off, and then rehearsals started at like the end of February. So there was about a month, I guess, before that I
Wow.
knew, but I had already learned the set for auditions. So I had learned they had sent out the set list and said, pick out as many as you want to learn, as many as you can learn. I learned all of them, and I learned the studio versions and the live versions, and then a couple extra songs. And so, yeah, about a month was the time prior to the first gig, and but that was auditions, then rehearsals, and then went and did the cruise with Pussycat, and then went to Europe, and then we had a couple production rehearsals there, and then started the tour.
Wow. Yeah, the way it seemed like they spun it was that it was like a kind of a sudden thing where it was there wasn't all that time in between. So but they actually had like rehearsals and auditions and everything, huh? Wow.
Yeah, that's, I was very, very grateful for the opportunity, and it was really, really cool to do. And all those guys are really, really great. Their crew is incredible. Sully and Robbie are really, really, really cool dudes, and stuff is really fun to play. Little heavier than, I can't really say heavier than I'm used to, just because I'm used to playing all different styles depending on what is necessary and what's needed. But it was fun to play with that much gain. As a guitar player, it's just like, all the chunky riffs, and crowds were incredible. The fans were really, really cool. I was very appreciative that people didn't throw stuff at me, and had a great time. Had a great time with Will Hunt too, drummer Will Hunt from Evanescence. He and I had met prior to that. He was with either Stephen Piercy or Slaughter, and I was with Pussycat on a Monsters of Rock cruise, and we had met there. And so when we were both in auditions together, it was kind of a trip. So
Wow. Yeah, I mean
yeah,
that's such a dream gig. There's like thousands, maybe even millions of guitarists that would love that. And you were the one that won it out. I mean that must have been a big boost of confidence, as a guitarist to be able to like, you're the one that's picked out of all those other guitarists.
it was, like I said, I can't say anything other than just thankful for the opportunity. And it totally, I mean, it was crazy. It was crazy to do. I enjoyed every second of it. And um, it was, how the whole thing came about in general is just very, very wild. But yeah, it definitely, it does something to your confidence for sure when you have to step onto a stage like that. And the first show is 13,000 people sold out in Sofia, Bulgaria, in a country that you've never been to. And so definitely something else takes over in that time for sure.
Yeah.
But it was really, really cool. And I'm thankful to have gotten to experience a level of touring like that band does. So
Right. Was that your first time playing in Europe?
no, I had been to Europe once prior to that with another band I play with called Budderside.
Yeah.
We had went in 2018 to play the Wacken Festival, and we did a couple other shows that were just kind of small gigs. But this was the first proper tour of Europe. So
Yeah.
again, really, really wild way to get to experience Europe for the first time.
I was talking to CJ Pierce, the guitarist from Drowning Pool, who was the opening
Yeah.
band on that tour. And I asked him about, what he thought about your performing, and he just said that you absolutely killed it, that you were incredible. So I mean,
Uh,
it's pretty incredible not only to like replace like, a legendary guitarist and a legendary band, but then to get accolades from other musicians saying that you killed it. I mean, that must feel really good.
yeah, CJ was super, super cool. It was awesome to watch him and Drowning Pool every night, and POD as well. I grew up listening to both those bands, and grew up covering Bodies by Drowning Pool and different cover bands back home, whatnot. So it was really cool to have both those bands, see both of those bands play every night, and super cool dudes as well.
Yeah. What was it like working with Sully?
Sully was great. He was really, really cool to me. He was really, really cool. He said that I had done my homework and he didn't really have any notes, and it was great. He's a great singer, cool dude. His whole, you know, I dig his whole vibe.
Now, what do you feel was the most challenging part about that role in Godsmack?
Just for me, I just wanted to hopefully try to give the most accurate presentation of the music. So, um, that was probably the most difficult, just trying to make sure everything was right. But um, that was, yeah, yeah, just trying to present the music as close as I could, because Tony Rumble is a great guitar player, so and I feel like a pretty underrated guitar player, especially going through and learning his parts and learning his things. And yeah, that was definitely the most challenging thing.
Has there been any talk about any more Godsmack dates with you playing guitar on?
I can't discuss anything further. Uh, I've already said too much.
Oh, okay. Fair, fair enough. Fair enough. I want to talk a little bit about another band that you're in, Dorothy, with Dorothy Martin. Now, how difficult is it juggling being in Faster Pussycat and also being with Dorothy?
A lot of it so far, luckily, has been schedules lining up. That's like this year, especially, just how all three of these tours have lined up was real. I'm really thankful that that everybody's been able to work with each other and work with the schedules that I've been given. Um, there's certain Pussycat things that I have to miss for Dorothy, because I have to, you know, at some point something has to be prioritized. So um, there's a show or two on this current tour that I think I have to miss, unfortunately. Um, it's really just balancing and figuring out who can who can make it work, really. So there was a couple Dorothy shows I had to miss because of the Godsmack tour, but luckily there's a guitar player, Nick Annis. He works with Kesha, and he subs for Dorothy on bass and guitar. So he was luckily able to do the two shows that I was able to miss, because that's a harder gig to get covered, just because of everything is live. Most of the stuff is quite different from the studio versions, and there's so much guitar playing. There's so many guitar solos because there's a lot of jams, and that's how she and they want it. So they want it to be extended out, and so most of the time I can't even really do the solos like the record because it's way longer. So it's harder to get somebody, so the only guitar player, so that makes it a little more difficult. With Pussycat, there's a guy that's able to do the show and plays the stuff well, and so it's in this case, I'm doing the tour up until I can't, which I'm still figuring out what those dates are. Um, but yeah, it's easier to get somebody in this situation to cover faster than it is Dorothy.
Yeah, who, if you don't mind saying, who would be your replacement in Faster Pussycat for those dates?
His name's Chris Burrell. He's a kind of, I think he's 24 or 25. He recently moved to LA. He subbed for me on a couple shows last year. So he's already
Awesome.
done it a couple times. Yeah. So I had him come into rehearsals when we were rehearsing to rehearse the new tunes, Motorbike and the NXS cover. And yeah, so just I'm waiting on my info for the Dorothy stuff to then get squared away with what he's going to be doing.
Yeah,
It's only a couple shows though.
okay, yeah, because I was looking at the itinerary for Dorothy, and it looks like that tour starts on August 25th, and the faster one ends on July 8th. So that,
There's a couple Dorothy fly dates that are not out
oh,
there yet.
all
Yeah.
right,
So that but
great.
that tour, there's a few things in between this tour and that tour, but then yeah, that's the next full run. Yeah, is that August to beginning of October
Hmm.
with Dorothy.
Yeah, and Dorothy's new record is the new one that she just put out. The Way is really getting some great reviews, and it seems like she's definitely an artist, like on the way up, without a doubt. Can you sense that, being in the band, that it's definitely a band that's, on its way up?
Her and her voice for a while, since even before I had the opportunity to play with her. So, and her bass player Elliot is a really good friend of mine. We've been friends for years and did multiple different gigs together in LA, just all kind of different random stuff. And so I'd actually even seen them a couple times prior to playing with them. And yeah, I just think she's so rad. She really, just playing with her is so much fun. The players that are always on the gig are super super great. And uh yeah, she's she's definitely awesome. And the new record
Right.
was really really fun to get to play some stuff on, and to get to work with her producer Scott Stevens, who's such a great dude and so talented. So really really cool.
Now you're somebody that doesn't really seem like you have much spare time with all the bands and performers that you're in right now. Do you have any other projects coming up that you want to reveal to us? I know you did something with Tommy Hendrickson and Crossbone Skully. Is that something that is going to be any tour dates or anything for that?
I don't totally know at this point.
Hmm.
I saw Tommy a couple weeks ago at the last show of the Dorothy tour, was the Boardwalk Music Festival in Ocean City, Maryland, and Alice Cooper also played that day. So it was awesome to see Tommy and see some members of that crew that he had brought in for those couple Viperoon shows that we did. I don't totally know what's the plans are currently. I know Tommy's pretty busy, and everybody's everybody's got schedules that they're trying to balance. So there's that. I also have a band called Budderside that I mentioned a little bit earlier. We put out a
Right. Yeah.
record. It was about a year ago, called White Flame, and that's like, that album at least is original music that I was able to be a part of, and write a bunch of it. And but that's another thing where everybody kind of has schedules, and harder getting the newer bands off the ground, kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Well, Sam, I want to thank you very much for your time. I'm really looking forward to the Buffalo show, and I want to say best of luck to you on the road, and keep kicking ass, man.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you having me, and come say hey at the show. Meet in real life if we haven't met before.
Yeah. All right. Definitely will. All right. You take it easy, man. Okay.
All right, man. See you. Thanks.